Introducing Marketing Vanguard, the podcast that spotlights CMOs and other C-suite leaders who are driving the ever-evolving advertising, marketing, and media industry forward. The word vanguard is defined as a group of people leading the way in new developments or ideas. In these conversations, we'll dive into what's driving the decision makers of today to move the needle of some of the world's most exciting brands. We'll focus on one key idea or decision, why they made it, whether it worked, the ripples it set forth, and how it has defined the person as a business leader. Listen and subscribe to Marketing Vanguard wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
podDIVA. This is podDIVA. If you're an LGBTQIA plus woman or non-binary person, this is your weekly podcast. I'm Shelley. This week's interview needs no introduction. It's like a Christmas miracle. And when you finish listening to this podcast, go out and grab yourself a copy of Diva magazine to hear more. podDIVA.
And it's truly like a Christmas miracle because Laurel's in green and I'm in red. It's perfect. Yeah.
Look at that. Canada, Texas, and London.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
And Jennifer's up the earliest.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I've got my tea, my Dolly Parton cup. I'm just going to be slurping away.
Have you listened to the Dolly Parton podcast?
There's a podcast?
So good. It's so clever. You think it's going to be inane? It's so deep. It's really worth a listen.
No, Dolly Parton is not inane. Like Dolly Parton is profound. Dolly Parton is like a Buddha come to earth to help us all.
We see, I didn't know that. And now I do.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so talented. Amazing.
Thank you so much. Diva listeners and Diva readers are so excited and have been. The buzz has been enormous around the grand climax to this love story that's been going on for almost 20 years. That's amazing. I mean, that's got to be some sort of record on TV, I would have thought. Isn't it? I don't know.
I know, and you're an integral part of that.
Well,
Miss Helena.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that Miss Helena wasn't at the wedding.
I know, and I bought a hat and everything. I mean,
I think, yeah.
And Peggy. I really wanted Peggy at the wedding.
Yes, it would have been so much fun. I mean, it looked like it was an amazing fun. I mean, it looked like one of those episodes. Were you guys just laughing all night? Was it one of those night shoots where you thought you were going to lose your mind from laughing? How was it?
It was a night shoot.
Yeah, it was a night shoot. And what was great was to have Leisha directing, right?
Yeah.
Like that was really fun.
She did a great job. It was brilliant.
She did a great job. Yeah.
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 That was special.
That was really fun.
I think there's some kind of magic to, I mean, with Kate and Leisha directing the last two, to like look up and to see someone that's part of the family and that knows you and knows your character so well and has a very like clear idea and background of like how everything becomes authentic and what the truth is. And that's something kind of amazing.
Yeah, just you look up and there's someone that you can trust implicitly, and it makes it easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you could see that.
Yeah.
But it did feel very connected. It felt very, can I say this? It felt like old school L Word for me as a viewer. Yeah, it felt like the OG.
The old guard.
How do you feel about that? You know, all this talk about the OG.
It doesn't really resonate with me because I want a cast to feel like an ensemble, and as soon as you say OG, there's a demarcation, and I would rather have everybody just be part of one story that we're trying to tell. So it's tricky for me. I appreciate the
fans,
the honorific in a way, but when you're on set, like I just want everybody to be more cohesive.
So, have you guys directed? Either of you?
No, they asked me if I wanted to this season, and I just felt like I wanted to just enjoy, this journey because we knew what was coming, pretty much. Except for we didn't know the very end. We didn't know which way it was going to go, but we knew that these two were going to reconnect. So
you wanted to be present for the performance rather than...
Yes, I mean, because your first time directing, it's a big load. on your shoulders. And I wanted to just focus on the acting work and whatever producing that I needed to do, and instead of putting that on my shoulders as well. And it was a great experience. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better ending to the season, I think. I don't know how Laurel feels, but I felt like watching them walk away, holding hands and being in their love, and then wishing that feeling for their friends was just, I thought
that was,
a lovely way to end the season.
It felt like when we came in the beginning, it was just a lot of fun. Like the car, like where Beth's chasing Tina in her car. That was a super fun night. We were downtown.
Oh my God, that was a magical night.
And so it was like fun. And then and then in the middle of this whole journey, I actually saw you because I went to Europe. And then, and then we had this other part that was sort of more like grounded and sweet. I don't know, something that was nice at the end.
Yeah. Well, what's fun is that you go from this reconnection, and in the midst of that, you're seeing them parent, for better or for worse at times. And
Yeah, for better or worse.
And then you circle back to their relationship at the end.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting journey.
I was just going to say that I love the scene. I suppose it's almost like a double proposal scene, if we can call it that, where you both...
Oh, yeah.
That scene to me was so beautiful. It was so beautiful, and I loved it. The pace of it, it just felt lovely. And I mean, obviously, hot fries and love. I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
you can't get a better combination than that.
What a simplicity to it.
Yeah, that's all Kate.
That
That's
was
all
Kate. Yeah.
Yeah, she really did such an amazing job with that scene. Instead of making it this big, dramatic moment, it's, these people have been together for so long and have been through so much. To simplify it, I thought was a great choice, because they're so living inside their love and their relationship that they don't really need the fanfare in a way.
Kate did this thing that helped me so much. She's just like, throw it all away. You're just eating the burger, and which is funny because it was like Impossible Burger, and that's when I discovered how great they were. And she's just like totally look in the opposite direction, so you don't see at all what's coming your way, and you're just throwing it out there as maybe we should get married. And there's this other thing going where you see like Tina's kind of looking to the left away. And then it was wonderful the way she shot it, because when I popped back around, there it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved that. I thought it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, it was fun.
Because you kind of, you hope it's coming. It's gorgeous. It was so beautifully done. So beautifully done.
And it was fun to have that ring in my purse for everything, for that whole sequence, right? Where everything's going down in the auditorium, and with the reading and the professor and everything. And it's like, oh God, this night is not going to go exactly as I planned. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Really fun.
Where did you say that was shot? That was LA.
It was Glendale.
The fans will know better than we do.
And that was night. That was late till like 4 a.m. Eileen was on set that day, which was just magical.
That made it extra especially joyful.
Yeah.
And I saw she was at the wedding. I mean, obviously.
Yes, yeah.
Couldn't be a wedding without Eileen. How was that, having her on set for that day?
Oh my gosh, it's a full circle thing. I mean, she's our creator, basically. Right. She's created Bette and Tina, and to have her there to see them in this moment of happiness and to be inside the story.
When you look at her when you're working too, like you just look over and she's beaming. Like there's just so much, she's smiling and just giving you like all this good energy. It's just like yeah,
it was so much fun.
Makes you feel proud.
Yeah, absolutely. And you should be proud. I mean, it's amazing the impact I think that season finale had just on the online social media sphere was enormous. So much to be proud of and such beautiful work. It was from all of you. It was lovely. I loved that last episode. It was beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I noticed Tasha was there, Rose Rollins. So how was that to see her?
It's like time never, has passed. That's what it feels like with so many people in the original cast. Like you see them and you just sort of take up where you left off.
And she's so great and so easy to be around and so relaxed. And just like when she opens her mouth and starts to speak, it felt to me like it was weird. It was like a time hadn't passed.
Yes.
Like it really brought me all the way back to just being around her on set all the time.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because she had just had a baby. So
Oh, wow.
she's just like rolling with it.
Yeah.
So easy, so relaxed.
And her laugh, which was always
Yes.
the best.
yeah, the best. And the two of them together. So Alice and Tasha, to see them together laughing like that was personally for me, it just made,
Yeah.
I found myself, I was like smiling all the way through that episode when I watched it, just grinning.
I love it when she goes back to the fire truck and she's like, I gotta go. I can't remember, like, get the paper to write you up or something.
Yeah.
And you look at like Alicia's face, look at Alice's face, and it's like, what? It's like,
She says, I don't want your number or something. She's
they have such great chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that hopefully that's a happily ever after. Are we hoping? We're thinking for them.
Sure, I hope so. You never know, like what they,
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
Eileen had tried to break up. I just learned this. Like Eileen had tried to break up Bette and Tina for ages. You never know, like what's in the mind of the
Yeah.
writer. Who knows? There could be other plans for them, but I hope so. That would be my hope for them.
Yeah. And online there was always this talk about endgame. Bette and Tina is endgame and all this sort of stuff, all these phrases that were circulating around. Is it happy ever after for Bette and Tina? Is this the beginning for Bette and Tina? Is it the end for Bette and Tina? What can you tell me?
I mean, who knows? Well, first of all, they're fictional. Let's just
What?
They're not real. Let's just make sure that's clear.
Wait a minute.
But I think that but there's a moment when fictional characters they inhabit a real space because they embody something that is really meaningful, even if it's messy. And I think that if this relationship should go on screen, that I think happily ever after is not that particularly interesting dramatically. Like, it doesn't have to be explosive challenges, but in any relationship you're constantly
Met with challenges, and you have to work on relationships for them to be successful.
so seeing them do that, I think, would be interesting, and seeing them continue to parent. And the notion that you get married and then everything is great, well, there's I think anybody who's been married knows that it takes more than just that ritual to ensure happiness. I mean, certainly you can touch back to that ritual when things are challenging, to remember the why and remember your vows and remember to take care of one another, but it doesn't ensure happiness.
And so, dare I say, for Jennifer and Laurel, then, seen as Bette and Tina are apparently fictional,
Apparently.
was this an end for something? Or was this maybe this was a beginning for the spin-off show that I've just made up? I don't know what. I don't know what's.
I have no idea. You go ahead, Laurel.
Rachel's gonna start like a whole movement.
I see this now.
I can see it happening.
Hashtag spin-off. I don't know.
Hashtag spin-off.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
I
don't know. That's a big question mark.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But what I will say, though, is that after the season ended, to see the outpouring of love and gratitude from the fans was incredibly moving. And to hear them talk about what this marriage meant to them was really moving. And it was really lovely.
A lot of people shared their stories on social media, and there were so many different stories, stories of coming out. I've had people share stories where they lost their long-term partner, a lot of stories, what this couple meant to them, what it represented. It's really powerful.
Really powerful. Jennifer, I know you said once something about you, before you got the L word, that you were hiking somewhere, and you manifested that you wanted this long love affair, this story to tell. Yeah.
I remember I was hiking and I literally got down on my knees at one point and just asked the universe I wanted to be part of an epic love story, because that was a story that I had not told yet in the projects I had done. And I didn't specify that it was a heteronormative love story. Because I wasn't bright enough I wouldn't have been knowledgeable enough, wise enough to ask for this specific love story, but the universe was, and said, okay, we're going to put you in this story, and this is how you will serve. And when it came along, I just started laughing. I was like, this is so perfect. I can't take it. It's so perfect. And I remember meeting Eileen in that first meeting, and Steve Golan was there, and you knew that you were on a special journey. You knew that you're on a special journey, especially like when you think about it, Laurel, like you were just getting married or had just gotten married when we met.
Yeah.
Right? Because we were talking about our wedding.
That was one of the things we talked about when we first met.
Yes.
And our animals, because we're dog people.
And so to end with a wedding for them, albeit their second wedding, but their first public wedding, seemed very appropriate in a way.
I remember it was called Earthlings. Wait, what was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
it was.
Was it called something different? And then it got passed around, and I had different friends read it, and they were like, oh, it's just going to be too sexy. They were afraid. And I read it, and I was like, wow, all these female voices, all these different types of women all together. And it was amazing. I was just kind of blown away. And of course I was like, I'm in. I want to read. Who do you have? And I read for Shane and Tina the very first time. I think I went into Anonymous, and I remember Eileen sitting there. But I knew I wanted Tina. That was very close to what I wanted to do, and the right age and everything. And I think the only reason I read for Shane is because of Two Girls in Love, and I had played a character that was kind of butch, but she certainly wasn't a player. So I was like, I don't think I can do this. And then I remember this was another thing, going to the final test, and Leisha and I were in the bathroom together, and I think we shared a comb and some hairspray. And we completely knew each other from New York, but not well, And I remember seeing Aaron in that room too. When I got to Canada, I got into the elevator at the Sutton place, and Kate walked in, and I knew exactly who it was.
Wow.
You and I had the exact same experience, because my husband and I were in the elevator, and Kate walked in, and you just know, right? You know what character that is. And I'll never forget it
was like a rock star walked in.
Oh, total rock star.
Rock star.
And then she got out of the elevator, and as the doors are closing, she was like, peace. Peace. And she put 2 fingers up, peace. I was like, oh my God, I love her so much already.
And there you go. That started a whole phenomenon. Kate starts this whole look, this whole
oh my God
thing
yeah.
that will just go on.
Gone forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Inimitable, isn't she? Really?
Yeah.
And during Kate's episode, the penultimate episode of season 3, you must have been prepping for the wedding.
When we started preparing for the wedding, of course the vows are very important. I think Marsha at one point wanted us to write the vows. And Eileen weighed in as well. And then we wrote a version ourselves, incorporating what we thought would be there. And on the day, we didn't think either one of them would have been the person to have memorized their vows. And so we knew we needed them written down. And I asked to write mine in my own hand, so I didn't have the sort of meta thing of looking at someone else's handwriting.
Someone else's handwriting,
yeah.
which is strange. Yeah.
Yeah. And Laurel wrote hers as well. And I got a little obsessive about it, as I remember. I was like, oh, and I want the ribbon to match Tina's jacket, so that it's the design of this jacket. I got way into it. But I realized there was something that was really meaningful to me about these vows on these pieces of paper, that I wanted to keep them. And imagine that one day maybe we'd auction them, who knows if they'd be like end up in the family archive, I don't know. And
they just felt really special.
yeah.
And there's two of them, because in film you always kind of have two of everything, right, Jennifer?
Yes, yeah, especially with a prop like that, because it starts to get crinkly, and who knows if somebody loses it or
someone spills something on it,
Or a bit of cake goes flying onto it.
yeah, exactly. But then just like I don't know, like a month ago, maybe, I can't remember how long ago, Laura's like, why don't we auction the vows off for Glisten? I think you mentioned Glisten too.
Yeah,
because we both love this organization that's so great.
yeah.
Can you tell me a bit about the organization?
Yeah, they work to ensure that LGBTQ students are able to learn and grow in a school environment that's free from bullying and harassment. And it operates under the assumption that every student has the right to a safe, supportive, LGBTQ inclusive K through 12 education. I mean, they do so much great work, and gender and sexual identity are such an important part of how all of us really experience ourselves. And I think about students, particularly at that age when you're grappling with your identity, period, and then to make this discovery about yourself and be in a culture that's trying to catch up to who you are and how you express yourself. To give those students support is, I think, crucial.
I also see in the States, inclusivity seems to be pumped early into like the private school system. At least that's what I saw in Los Angeles. But inclusivity is not always pumped into the public school system, no matter what state you're in. That's something I find troubling.
Yeah, and it benefits all students. Like it doesn't just benefit the LGBTQ students, it benefits all students. And I think as soon as administrators realize that, you're deepening your community, then hopefully more schools will incorporate curriculum that's LGBTQ inclusive. Because, I mean, Glisten research shows that LGBTQ students who attend schools with a curriculum that's inclusive of LGBTQ history and events, they experience better school climate and improved academic outcomes.
Right.
It's so obvious. Like if you're trying to erase people, you're erasing your entire history. You're erasing your entire community. But they're great. They're an amazing organization.
And also, I think if you're going to school, and especially middle school where it's super hard, and you're feeling guarded, every interchange between the hallway and everything, it's not a good environment to learn in.
No.
You're not relaxed.
And it's not a good environment to live in, to experience yourself as a human being. Like it's horrible.
Yeah.
So they're doing so many great things to change that. And so that's why we wanted to auction off these vows and benefit this amazing organization.
It's so important, and I don't think that British listeners will be very familiar with this group. I think they are American based.
No, I think it's US based.
But they're doing amazing work. It stands for Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network. So it's doing incredible work, and I think it's been around. It was founded by teachers in 1990. It's been around for a while, and it's been doing a lot of great work, and as you said, Laurel, across the board in all schools. So you went to them and said, let's auction it. So when's this happening? When, where, what?
That's a really good question. The bidding begins April 3rd. It's on Charity Buzz, and all proceeds go to Glisten.
Brilliant. So that's April 3rd, Monday, April 3rd. Go to www.charitybuzz.com, buzz with 2 Zs. All proceeds go to Glisten. And Glisten is the Gay, Lesbian and Straight Education Network. April 3rd, people.
podDIVA. Martell Cognac has been distilling bold cognac for upwards of 300 years. Treasured by royalty and connoisseurs alike, it's audaciously and simply the best. Hundreds of years of artisanship have brought forth Martell Blue Swift and Cordon Bleu. Blue Swift is the first ever spirit drink made of cognac VSOP. Finished in bourbon casks, it stands alone on the rocks or mixes well in a cocktail. Cordon Bleu is intentionally named after the international emblem of excellence. It's a one-of-a-kind, truly unique cognac for special celebrations and memorable moments. Grab a bottle at a store near you.
podDIVA.
So when you were writing these vows, I mean, wow, were you digging back into 20 years of your relationship? How was that? I can't imagine.
It was so much fun. It was really fun to, as Bet, to be thinking about all the things that she loved about Tina. And one of the things that came up in my mind was how Tina is the person that all of our friends go to, either to dance until 3 a.m. or to tell their deepest secrets to, because she's so non-judgmental and open and loving. And that was really fun to remember. I was just remembering Tina dancing with everybody. I think there was like a pot brownie scene or something. Yeah.
Oh my God. I think I ended up on Bet's couch that night, and Jody tucked me under, which I thought was pretty amusing and loaded. For me, I think there's the one part where I say that how Bet stands in her convictions and it inspires everyone around her. And that, to me, it was just the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
It's like the person that you want to stand next to, and they're going to lead the brigade. And I think that it's so attractive to Tina, and she feels like a safety and a warmth. I think when Bet is shining, like, that makes her really happy. It's the yin yang of their love. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think as they've gotten older, that yin and that yang has shifted sometimes. You know, like then there are times when Tina has the young energy in the relationship, especially this season. You know, I feels like it goes back and forth, which feels like a healthier balance in a way.
Yeah.
There's a lovely moment in that last episode when you're in the fridge watching Tina say to Bet, I don't like all this positivity. And I was thinking, isn't this strange? This is a really strange conversation. That she's like, really, it's making me feel really weird.
It's really uncomfortable for her.
There's whatever they're called, memes all over Twitter of the Bet Porter, the lioness that comes in every now and then when she, and that's at the window. And it was almost like, I don't know whether Leisha was thinking this when she shot it, but it was almost like that moment from The Shining, when his head comes up and he goes,
it's Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, it was a bit like that, and I thought, whoa,
get us out.
And it was like, yes, go. This is how we get shit done. When we talk about Bet's fierceness.
Yeah. And then Tina starts jumping up and down like a kid. That's my girl.
Yeah, she loves it. Tina's like, this is it. This is, because it's not just obviously a fierceness physically, it's a fierceness of spirit, and it's a fierceness of, that's what we all know about Bet Porter. She gets shit done.
Right.
And how,
But so much of what that was like, you can't hide who you are. You have to just have the balance in life. And when you don't hide anything and you embrace all those things,
yes,
that's the like bearing your soul in the relationship, like the truth of it, like. And that's what was so was really fun about that scene. Also, I want to go back to like the episode before, like they have an interesting co-parenting dynamic. Like there's one point where Tina really loses it and she's very triggered by the professor. I think this goes back to her childhood history. She's super triggered, and Bet kind of calms her, And when they're right before the proposal, when we're just ordering burgers, like it's Bet that's reminding her, like, this is who our child is. She's going to be fine. It's okay. And I think that, that's what parenting is about. There are going to be days where you get it right and days where you're like, oh, I'll probably not get this one right today. And when you have a good co-parent, they never judge you for those things. They're always saying, oh, like, we're doing this together.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And yeah, like you say, the yin and the yang. Who just walked in there, Laurel, and had a good shake? Who was that?
The Queen's dog, the Dorgie. There's the
Oh,
corgi.
hello. Is that her bed?
Yeah, this is the guest bedroom.
Oh my God. So
This
cute.
is Mr. Mosley.
Oh, Mr.
I think
Mosley.
the name came from Downtown Abbey. I don't know. I didn't name him. My friend did. But he's looking at us. He's really my baby dog. He's a half corgi, half Dachshund.
Oh, really? Lovely.
He's so cute.
Oh, that was so sweet. Just came in and shook.
I didn't realize that you could see him.
Well, no, I heard him. I heard, hello.
Wagging his tail.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Mosley.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Oh, no. He knows. He knows. Look at him. He totally knows.
Jennifer met him at my house a while
He
back.
can't even hear us, but he can feel it.
Ah.
Yes. So cute. You know what I realized? You were talking about the scene in the freezer. Like, I was listening to Laurel, and it made me remember talking to Marja, and because in an earlier draft, I don't think we had that moment in the same way. I said, let's explore why we're stuck in the freezer. Like, because if we're stuck in the freezer, there's somehow we're being prevented from getting married. So what is the thing that we need to heal in order for the wedding to carry on? And it's exactly that point that you were talking about you have to be your full self for there to be some kind of balance in the relationship. You know, that balance has to come from you as an individual first, and then you can bring that to the relationship. There were a lot of discussions about that scene, and we all powwowed a lot on that scene.
Yeah.
As I recall.
I do. That scene was very important to
Yeah.
us.
Sorry to circle back there.
Right.
We were having fun dog conversation, but it was sticking in my head.
Sorry. He was trying to get into the moment. Mama wanted to participate.
You know, it was, I thought, a beautiful moment. Sometimes the harder the process to get there, the more amazing the results. You've got to hammer it out, like you say, but the result was brilliant.
Well, certainly that process makes you think more deeply about each moment, I guess,
Yeah.
collectively, instead of just on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you write these on your own? Did you sit together as Jennifer and Laurel and try and write these, or did you go away and do it separately? Did you do it with Marja?
Oh, no, we did it separately, as we would.
We did it separately.
Yeah.
But we began during the engagement episode that Kate was directing. I mean, we began talking a lot about the vows.
Right.
Talking to Eileen, and then weren't we sitting on set one day, and then Marja goes, "I think you guys should write your vows." And then we were like, "Really? Okay." And then it just kind of went back and forth.
Yeah. And to whoever wins these incredible artifacts of TV history, really, apart from helping a really good charity, what would you say to them?
That's interesting. I just want that whoever, wins these vows, that they know how important they were to us, how meaningful they were to us. And I hope that they bring them such happiness. Like, that's what I hope. Yeah.
That's lovely. That's really lovely. Laurel, anything?
No, I felt such